Crazy piece of news. Let's just read it. So basically, T1, a message from Joe Marsh, not Joe Biden. First and foremost, I want to thank you for your unwavering support as we prepare for the 2025 LCK season. Your passion and dedication fuel our team, and we're excited to defend our back-to-back World Championships. With the Fearless Draft format remaining in place for the entire season, we anticipate new challenges ahead and are eager to take them on together. I think it's, the phrasing of this is very, very smart here. Very, very smart phrasing here. Put emphasis on worlds is everything that matters. Really, really, good statement here. I understand many of you have been frustrated by our silence regarding roster changes, the possibility of a 6-man lineup. Please know that this was never out of disregard for our fans, but rather due to ongoing internal discussions between management and our coaching staff as we work together toward the best path forward. All right, this makes sense so far too. I have complete trust in Becker, and the coaching staff. All right, very good. The coaching staff has a job. That is, of course, the performance of the team. That makes a lot of sense. And after extensive conversations with them, I have requested that GUMAYUSI be part of the starting lineup, and as a result, he'll be starting when the regular season begins. The CEO stepped in and requested. What happened with the complete trust? This decision was not made lightly, but as CEO, it is my responsibility to take a long-term view and ensure the best interests of T1. Oh my days. While GUMAYUSI will be starting the season, he and Smash will be competing in practice and pushing each other throughout the year. The coaching staff will ultimately determine which player gives us the best chance to win in the long run, and that player will play. GUMAYUSI has been part of T1 since 2018, and his journey is a testament to hard work, dedication, and adaptability. When he first joined our main roster in 2020, of course, when they had 2 ADCs, and he came in for Teddy, his aggressive playstyle made him a standout talent. Over time, he adjusted his game to align with the team's needs, often to detriment of his own personal statistics and accolades. But he never wavered in his commitment to the team's success, ultimately helping us secure back-to-back World Championships. With a new roster in 2025, significant changes to the game, our bot must once again evolved into a hyper-carry position. We're talking about game details right here? Joe March is making a statement about game details, that bot lane must once again evolve into a hyper-carry position. What are we doing, guys? I have full confidence that GUMAYUSI can adapt and thrive in this role just as he has before. More importantly, I believe he has earned the right to prove himself once again as one of the world's best bots. I once said that GUMAYUSI bled black and red, and I meant that. He has been incredibly loyal to T1, and this is my way of honoring that loyalty. This doesn't read well, guys. This does not read well. When we began planning for 2025, our intention was to maintain a 5-man roster. However, as the team prepared for the LCK Cup, the coaching staff made the request to test out Smash, and during that time he had shown a strong performance. So what changed? What changed? Did Smash underperform? Did he play bad? What happened? With that said, the decision was made that he will remain on our LCK roster for the season. We are confident in his growth and believe he has the potential to develop in an exceptional player. And just like the other main roster players, he will begin communicating directly with the fans through T1 membership, T1 Pop, and live stream starting on 24th. I also want to address the discourse among our fans regarding roster decisions. It has been disheartening to see division within our community. Our platforms should be placed to celebrate all of our players, not to create conflict. I acknowledge that our silence, along with some missteps in timing related to roster images and sponsor commitments, contributed to the confusion. For that, I sincerely apologize to our loyal fans and partners. Roster changes always met with mixed reactions, but I ask you to continue to support all 6 of our players as they strive to bring victory to T1. Thank you for standing with us. We are ready for the battles ahead and look forward to making 2025 another historic year for T1. Joe. This, guys, is one of the worst PR statements of all time. So let's take a look at it from the perspective of business, right? I think that benching GUMAYUSI probably hurts the bottom line. You already lost Zeus. Benching GUMAYUSI, regardless of how great Smash can be or how much better the team is with Smash, in terms of the bottom line, I can imagine not fielding GUMAYUSI as a player can definitely hurt you. But the way they presented this now is that there is like that the way it reads is as if the coaching staff is not, they are not agreeing with this decision. That's how it reads. And he's basically throwing them under the bus. Because now it is fully like there is a separation in the camp which can be the case, right? I have been in situations where I work in an organization and then the CEO or like someone steps in, it's like, you need to do this because this is, in the end, we need to stay afloat, right? It brings me back to that point in time. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a moment where Reckless was benched by Young Buck, right? He was benched and he was doing it because he wanted for strategic reasons and he wanted to, for disciplinary reasons. And then they stepped in and revoked that because Reckless was the face of the org. He was, the most known player, very strong player, the backlash of it would just hurt the bottom line in a crazy, crazy way. This is not 2018 during the weird-ass bot lane meta. No. This is not about that, Hidrino. This I'm talking about a different time altogether. This is a different time. 2018 was a different circumstance. This was when, I believe, Magi Felix stepped in. So, the statement here, it also puts GUMAYUSI in a horrible position. In a horrible position. Because GUMAYUSI didn't earn his spot through gameplay, right? He got this spot due to external pressures. It just sets up GUMAYUSI in a spot and the coaching staff in a spot where they cannot win. Nobody can win. If GUMAYUSI underperforms, it's because the coaching staff didn't support him and they didn't play the entire time. If he's performing super, super well, then the coaching staff should be fired. They didn't do this in the first place. There is no way they can win through this PR statement. Let me give you an example of how I would execute it, right? Let's say you present a unified front. You say that GUMAYUSI has proved himself again through our internal practice and he's back in form with the changes, with no lane swaps in. GUMAYUSI's lane dominance will be super, super powerful for us. And we are going to see a reinvigorated GUMAYUSI who is, of course, competing for a spot with Smash. That would be a unified front. No one would have an issue with it. We would all understand. It would make sense. But this is basically, he had to step in to put in GUMAYUSI where the coaching staff disagreed. And he's saying that it is his responsibility to take a long-term view. And this is very, very bad. I think the outcome of this in the aftermath, T1 won't be able to win. I don't see a world where you would want to throw your coaching staff so far under the bus without having some idea in terms of leverage for an off-season or if you wanted to fire them. Because anyone from outside now is clearly going to point to the coaching staff as the issue. GUMAYUSI has a lot of fans. The ZOVF roster has a lot of fans. They're standing by GUMAYUSI, and now the scope was basically pointed by the CEO onto the coaching staff. You are not having a unified front as management. It's really, really, really bad. And I think it also makes GUMAYUSI look like shit. It seems as if he needed to be saved here in this scenario. And I really, really dislike the idea of portraying GUMAYUSI as someone that is weak-willed or wouldn't be capable of competing and proving himself again. He's a legendary player for a goddamn reason. And another thing, another detail of this all, right, is that in terms of how Koma has worked in teams, time and time again, there's been many moments in time where there were roster shuffles for the purpose of finding the best possible performance. GUMAYUSI came into the roster through that. Nobody was saying at the time, Teddy made this semifinals, he made this finals, and so forth. No, it was just a competitive decision to make the team as good as possible, and GUMAYUSI came through. There's many examples of that in terms of how they acted, in terms of course, how the jungle position was, with Bengi subbing in key moments. And then additionally, the layer of course, Easy Hoon and Faker. There's been many moments in time, and this is how Koma works. And obviously, Koma has a fucking great and proven track record that you give it time, right? And this is not to begin to talk about the in-game details. I am strictly talking about the PR of this. Because from a business standpoint, I completely understand why you'd want to field GUMAYUSI. I'm sure they are hurting already because they lost Zeus. The bottom line is in pain. To put in GUMAYUSI again for the fans is a very, very important detail. I understand that. But the way this is phrased is that you removed all power from your coaching staff. You've empowered the fans that have antagonized your decision making and attacked your decision making by giving them, more fuel and more power in this circumstance. And I think that is insanely, insanely dangerous. Very, very dangerous for you. Because now you have created the framing that, of course, if the fans get angry enough, they can enforce decisions in your organization. And as people see that, they're going to engage in that more and more and more and more. So I think Smash is in a terrible spot. GUMAYUSI is in a terrible spot. I think that the coaching staff is in a terrible spot because everyone's going to call for them to be fired, right? Everyone's going to call for them to be fired. If GUMAYUSI underperforms, it's going to be, the blame is going to be on the coaching staff, right? Because they didn't believe in GUMAYUSI, didn't support GUMAYUSI, right? They could have just framed this so much better. And I think from a strategic point of view, right? If I only talk about gameplay, to have Smash and GUMAYUSI as two very unique players is a massive advantage. And to be able to play around with that and to leverage that is a massive competitive advantage. I think that Smash revitalized T1 in their split, and it allowed them to play a certain way because Smash had a very unique champion pool. And now lane swap is removed from the pool, and I'm sure GUMAYUSI and his champion pool is going to be massive here because you can't lane swap away from his powerful Caitlyn, his Varus, his Kalista, right? And that is really, really good. This just reads as if Joe Marsh came in and he's the hero of the day, right? So he's getting good credit and good grace in the T1 fans' eyes. The T1 fans are going to be a little bit happy to see GUMAYUSI play, but at the same time, the way it was handled is just very, very poor. I feel very bad for the coaching staff. I feel bad for GUMAYUSI. They could have, I repeat, I understand the decision. GUMAYUSI has a massive fan base. He probably pulls in a shit ton of revenue. And T1 fans are angry. I understand, right? This is how fandoms act. Whether it's in football, it's like, oh, why did they sub this guy in? Why did they hire this guy in? Come on now. I get that this is how fans work, man. But come on. This is really, really bad for everybody involved. And T1 is just burning their PR candle. They're burning their PR candle. And I'm sure that the coaching staff prioritized only performance because that's their job. And the CEO needs to, of course, focus on the financial aspect. And there's going to be clashes there that they need to solve. But now they have undermined the process of the coaching staff completely publicly. Because at least you should always present a unified front. And you could have easily presented this PR statement in a way that empowers GUMAYUSI, empowers the coaching staff, and also empowers Smash. But all it does here is just make it seem like, oh, Joe Marsh is the hero here. And the coaching staff was silly. I'm really, really disappointed in this. Really, really. As a PR statement, it's bullshit. It's really, really poorly done. Really, really poorly done. I think there's nothing left to add because it's not about the gameplay point, I can talk about how GUMAYUSI underperformed in the first two series that they played. I think I get that. And then Smash, I think he came in and played super, super well. I don't think that's the main point here. I think there's just going to be no winning for the T1 PR for the rest of the year. There's simply not going to be anything. If T1 don't win Worlds, this is going to be brought up. If T1 don't perform well, then this is going to be brought up. Even if T1 perform well, this is going to be brought up. There's no winning for the coaching staff now. And as you can see in the comments here, fire that coaching staff. Last time we checked the data, coaches swapped GUMAYUSI for Smash, leading T1 to a top 6 and not qualified for the first international event of the year. Which is, obviously this is a very, very dishonest way of framing things. Because T1, of course, as a team, took Hanwha Life to 5 games. And if they won that game against Hanwha Life and they somehow took Hanwha Life's run and made it to the finals, the GUMAYUSI fans wouldn't feel any different about what Smash did and wouldn't have done. They would have just told themselves that GUMAYUSI would have done it better, right? Because GUMAYUSI has that many fans, right? They were so close to beating Hanwha Life and they're bringing up this top 6 as a kind of counterpoint. When in reality, it's like at first it was, oh, the conversation is how shit the format is, because it was. The format is really, really shit. and we had a qualifying match between two of the best teams in the region, and they couldn't make, top 5, and Nongshim snuck in there, right? And it's like, this is just craziness, this is just craziness. I think it's for me, I don't know, man. It's just very, very poorly done. And in this premise here, second, can I presume if you didn't request it, your coaching staff would let a top 4 CL AD be in the starting lineup instead of 2 times world champion? So it's like, I don't know the dissonance in this messaging, right? It's like, oh, Faker is mind controlling everybody and the team is underperforming without him and all of the players wouldn't be anything with him, to now that, oh, you won 2 world championships in the past, so that's all that matters. Like, come on now. Like, these type of statements obviously don't make sense, but of course, we on this channel, we are very rational. We understand that people are going to be irrational about it because in the end, they're just really big GUMAYUSI fans. I'm also a GUMAYUSI fan. I want to see him play, right? I want to see him play because he's a great player. But I'm also a Smash fan, and I'm a fan of great League of Legends, and I'm a great fan of great coaching too. If they manage to leverage Smash into making GUMAYUSI an even better player, then that's all I want. That's all I want. And I think that the T1 coaching staff has enough credit in the bank to have, when it comes to competitive edge and competitive peak, I do trust them to make the right decisions. But obviously, this is something that is strictly business, but the PR on this business decision is completely ass. And I think the arrogance to even talk about how everything, like how bot lane must once again evolve into a hyper carry position, the arrogance from a CEO's point to even make a point about the game here is crazy. That is crazy. Because if you think about it, right? Smash plays the hyper carries. How Alive won firsthand not playing hyper carries, obviously, right? They played the Misfortune, Ashe in the finals, right? Obviously. Are you flaming Doran? Or who are you flaming in this process? Like, why would you ever talk about gameplay? Like, there's a reason why most CEOs of most teams are quiet. They are quiet. They work in silence. And when they come out to talk, it is to shield the players and the team from certain aspects and decisions. That's all it is. That's all it is. This just seems like stroking your own ego. That's how it reads. And I really don't envy the position that the coaching staff has been put in now. I really don't envy that at all. That's really bad. Really bad. And I don't know what the aftermath will bring. I think people around T1 and the conversation around T1, they will be angry regardless of what comes. They will be angry regardless of what comes. And that's it. That's it, team. That's it. This is one of the worst statements I've ever read, guys. And the thing is like, bro, I could easily imagine a world where GUMAYUSI is going to perform fantastic again. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. It's like, bro, it's so easy to imagine a world where GUMAYUSI fights back for his spot and finds insane form again. All these GUMAYUSI fans, they I don't know, bro. Come on, man. You believe in your boy. Believe in him. Believe in him. Believe in him as I believe in him. And additionally, it's like, if people think that GUMAYUSI can't handle this pressure, come on, man. Being in T1 is the most pressure-filled thing ever. And you're absolutely delusional if you don't think that T1 would have replaced players if it wasn't for them winning world championships. I assure you that. I assure you that. If T1 didn't win worlds, these players would have been replaced. And I think T1 has had a history of making very good swaps, right? There was that time with Danny and Coach Kim that was very tumultuous, right? It was very painful. where they were swapping players like fucking underwear. Even worse than underwear, because it's like they were switching them out like fucking clothes on a fucking model runway, you know, where they walk out with one outfit and then another outfit. It was horrible. I get that, right? But look at Koma's history. This is Koma we're talking about. We are just throwing Koma under the bus like this. I don't know, man. I hate it. I hate it. When the PR statement is so easy to make, so easy, guys. I could type it up, bro. I can chat GPT it, man. It's so easy to type up. It's like GUMAYUSI has proven himself once again and found incredible form on the new patch. And he's going to be starting. Smash is also improving, and the relationship between the two players is a very, very competitive one, but at the same time, a very nurturing one, because they help one another become better. And now GUMAYUSI has found new form again, and you present it in a way as the coaching staff has made this brilliant decision, right? Brilliant decision. And that has made GUMAYUSI evolve, right? That has made GUMAYUSI evolve. And then that's a perfect thing to present. And then we will never find out that it was because of a business decision. And it was because, you know, of course, you know, all the fans love GUMAYUSI. No, you don't make that so abundantly clear. You don't make that so abundantly clear. You never do that. You give power to these people. And we're going to read this over and over again. Coaching staff out. Oof. If this is on a Western platform, I just can't wait to see what happens on the Korean platforms, right? Be transparent. Give your community the Excel sheets showing the data and comparison between GUMAYUSI and Smash. Give people scrim results. Scrim results? Wow, you just look at the matches on stage. Come on, man. So the coaches were planning on wasting his entire year and only changed their mind after you stepped in. Yeah, that's the one, man. That's the one. Why is healthy competition even necessary? This position has always belonged to GUMAYUSI. If only GUMAYUSI had that privilege. I can't believe it, man. I hate this view of the T1 players like they are some weak-minded, you know, fragile entities, when these are some of the strongest fucking minds in all of esports. I tell you, man, the last 4 years, there's never been players under more fucking scrutiny and pressure than these guys. They are machines, man. They are machines. What has made them thrive time and time again at the World Championship is because these are some of the most resilient fuckers of all time. That's what makes them so damn good, is that where everybody else crumbles, these guys don't. I think that's all we need to say, guys. That's all we need to say. People are going to tell me that I'm not a T1 fan. I am a massive T1 fan. I am a massive, massive T1 fan. I am a massive T1 fan of the beauty of their story in terms of how they always made themselves insanely competitive. At the end of the year, they pushed through turmoil and they renovated the game and they played at the level of clutchness that is incompatible to anything else at the most important stage of the year. Like, I am a really, really big fucking T1 fan. I am. And I feel so bad for GUMAYUSI, for Becker, for Koma, and the rest of the coaching staff, and Smash.